Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV's digital platform. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here is a quick update on the global coronavirus situation. Across the world, more than 1.1 million people have tested positive for coronavirus, and more than 59,000 people have died because of the disease. The United States is the worst affected country because of the number of people who have tested positive for coronavirus in that country. More than 280,000 people have been infected with coronavirus, and more than 7,500 people have died because of the disease. And on Friday, US President Donald Trump revised the guidelines on wearing face masks, and he has said that all Americans who are out there in the open, who are in the public, should wear masks. Remember, earlier the US authorities had been saying that only people who are sick or those people who are taking care of the sick should wear masks. But now these guidelines have been revised, because the recent studies are showing that covering up of one's face actually helps in preventing the inadvertent transmission of the virus. Therefore, new guidelines. But Donald Trump says that he himself will not wear any masks because he says that it doesn't look good while he's interacting with people in the Oval Office. News from China now. China is today observing a national day of mourning. It is mourning all those people who have been killed because of COVID-19. The flags in the country are flying at half-mast. At 10 a.m. Beijing time, everything came to a standstill. Residents came to a standstill. All the traffic signals turned red, and people observed 3 minutes of silence to commemorate those who have been killed because of the pandemic. Meanwhile, in China, as you all know, Wuhan is actually now opening up after 2 months of lockdown. But authorities are still telling residents to try to stay in their homes as much as possible and go out only when it is actually necessary. Now, as you all know, China is reporting less and less number of cases every day. On Friday, 19 cases were reported, and of these number of cases, only one was locally transmitted, and the rest were all imported. And news from Europe, as you all know, in Europe there are 3 countries that are worst affected, and that is Italy, Spain, and Germany. And of these Italy is the worst affected. All 3 countries together make up 3 lakh cases combined. Italy, as you know, is the worst affected country in terms of the number of people who have died in that country. But there is some good news, because the country is saying that there are new deaths. 766 deaths were reported on Friday, but it is saying that the infection rate is slowing. It is saying that the number of cases who have been reported in last 5 days is actually stable, which is giving the experts hope that the country is reaching its peak of epidemic. Remember, more people have died in Italy than anywhere else in the world. Close to 14,661 people have died in that country, and positive cases are more than 85,400. Meanwhile, UK endured its deadliest day so far. It saw 684 people dying, which brings its total fatalities to 3,605. Close to 40,000 people have tested positive for coronavirus in the UK. Now, English Premier League is asking the players to take 30% of a wage cut to support all those communities, all those individuals who have tested positive for coronavirus. Meanwhile, as you all know, the Prime Minister of that country, Boris Johnson, has tested positive for coronavirus, and he has said that he will continue to self-isolate, and that is because his symptoms are still there. His fever is still there. He's still showing those mild symptoms of coronavirus, and he continues to work from home. And the Queen will address the UK over the outbreak. Meanwhile, focus is also shifting to what is happening in Japan, because there are now concerns being raised that is Tokyo becoming the new New York? The reason being that the cases in Tokyo have doubled in past 1 week. Japan in total has 3,329 positive cases and 74 deaths. But Prime Minister of that country, Shinzo Abe, has said that the situation is still not that bad that warrants a lockdown or probably imposing a state of emergency. He says that the country is already under some financial burden because he says the fallout of the coronavirus pandemic has affected the economy and also the cancellation of the Tokyo Olympic Games. As a result, he is so far resisted from imposing any sort of emergency or any sort of lockdown measures, but there are concerns that corona crisis is actually looming in Tokyo. The cases there are continuing to rise. Meanwhile, financially, of course, we all know that this pandemic is weighing heavily on the financial situation of the world as well. And World Bank has now said that we expect a major global recession because of this global pandemic. And in fact, IMF has also described the situation as crisis like no other. It is said, of course, with the airlines now grounded, businesses are closed and layoffs are, of course, mounting. And millions of people have been under lockdown for so long now. So economic fallout is definitely going to be there. But it is being said that it can be worse than the 2008 financial crisis. That is what the IMF is saying. And in fact, comparisons are also being drawn to some other traumatic periods in history like World War II and even the 1930s global depression. So those were all the updates related to coronavirus. Thanks so much for watching.